Guru Yatindra Raghavendraya Parama Puja Avatar Avadhuta Jagadguru Shri Datta Ganapat Sachidananda Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaja Sharda Mataye Ramana Maharshi Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja Lahiri Mahashaya Yukteswargiri Yogananda Gauranga Nitayi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Trailinga Maharaja Bhet Narayana Sadashiva Brahmendra Maharaja Neem Karoli Baba Maharaja, Nagajata, Jayalakshmi Mata, Jillelamudi Mata, Anandamayi, Anagha Sameta, Gurudatta Maharaja, Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja, Gauranga Nitayi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Anagha Sameta, Gurudatta Maharaj ki, Jaya Ho, Tara Mata ki, Jaya Ho, Anandamayi Mata ki, Jaya Ho, Shri Padarajam Sharanam Prapadhi. Shri Padarajam Sharanam Prapatye. Shri Padarajam Sharanam Prapatye. Shri Padarajam Sharanam Prapatye. Dear all devotees and divine associates, today also we have been blessed by Samasta Guru Mandali and His Holiness Paramapuja Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja and Paramahamsa Jagadguru Sri Yogananda Maharaja and Samasta Guru Mandali to continue our Satsanga in Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana as a part of Bhakti Kriya Yoga. And as a part of Bhakti Kriya Yoga, in Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana, we are trying to, or rather we have been blessed to continue our Satsanga of learning of Autobiography of a Yogi. However, we have completed in Telugu. That is the reason we have been blessed to make it as relearning of Autobiography of a Yogi, wherein which we have successfully completed with the blessings of Samasta Guru Mandali and Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja and Yogda Maharaja, the some part of in second chapter. The second chapter, which talks about my mother's death and the mystic amulet, wherein which we have successfully completed till Yogda Maharaja was been blessed by the divine omnious vision of mothers, the divine mother. And both Yogda Maharaja and his father were, I mean, Shivanna is telling that, or being instructed to tell that both were been traveling or traveled to Calcutta from Bareilly. And now, in a transfer point en route, one of his uncles, Yogda Maharaja uncle, met both Yogda Maharaja and as well as his father. And Yogda Maharaja is telling that, oh God, does she is alive? The question was asked by Yogda Maharaja. And he was, his uncle was not, he was not slow to interpret the desperation in my face. Of course, she's alive. He told that she's alive. But I scarcely believed him. Yogda Maharaja did not believe it to the core. He was just feeling that it may not be like that. Then he collapsed into almost lifeless state after learning that Paramapujita Gyan Prabha Ghosh, His Holiness Jagadguru, Avatar Paramahamsa Yogda Maharaja, mother. However, years have been passed, and before any reconciliation entered my heart, storming the very gates of heaven, my cries at last summoned the Divine Mother. So we relearned that Yogda Maharaja forcefully praying with urgency and very persistently to have a darshan and intervene to help Yogda Maharaja and bless. And then it is I who have watched over thee life after life. Amma says, Amma had given a darshan to Yogda Maharaja and says, years after, I mean, life after life, I've been there to you, mother of mothers. Like that Amma told. See in my gaze the two black eyes, the lost beautiful eyes thou seekest. The lost beautiful eyes. So Ma is telling, you look at my eyes, and that is a real bondage or real love between a devotee and the God. That's what Mother is, or Yogda Maharaja is blessing us to relearn it. Now the Satsanga continues like this. Father and I returned to Bareilly soon after the crematory rites for the well-beloved. So both father and ours Yogda Maharaja have returned after attending the crematory rites of mother. Early every morning, I made a pathetic memorial pilgrimage to a large Shioli tree which shaded the smooth green gold lawn before our bungalow. Now, this is a meditative practice, Yogda Maharaja, because he had a great darshan of mothers of mothers. How blessed his incarnation. So, what we have to learn or relearn is that a pure devotee feelings would attract God. So, but we have relearned that there should be a continuous, persistent effort, and we need to keep purifying the mind, pure thought, pure action, pure words, pure speech. All will, once we become pure, then God is will get attracted. So every morning, I made a pathetic memorial pilgrimage. However, very pathetic situation because she's Amma, the Yogda Maharaja mother, is very dearest friend on earth to Yogda Maharaja. So he was feeling uh, very heavy to heart, and he's passing through agony, very, very, very deep rooted sorrowfulness. So, as a routine, Yogda Maharaja used to have a pathetic memorial pilgrimage. That means in the house only, near in the bangla, he used to walk to a large Shioli tree. So, which shaded the smooth green gold lawn before our bangla. So, Yogda Maharaja is also telling us about the Shioli. So, we know that Shioli tree, generally it is called as night flowering jasmine, Shioli tree, right? So, so it is, so he used to, His Holiness, Yogda Maharaja used to walk with a very, 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 very pathetic mood. In poetical movements, I thought that the white Shioli flowers were strewing themselves with a willing devotion over the grassy altar. So, Yogda Maharaja is also explaining that strewing themselves. That means Yogda Maharaja is telling that they have a natural tendency, willingness of devotion. So, Yogda Maharaja is perceiving that natural world not as a random matter, it is very natural. So, it is offering itself to the God. But the fallen flowers, because all Shivali flowers are seen as a divine offering, that in Sanskrit we call it as Pushpanjali. So the flowers are falling upon the ground like grassy altar of the earth. So they are praying to earth, all Shivali flowers. See, and this we have to relearn. Generally, a sadhaka, that is the reason our Yogda Maharaja and Samasta Guru Mandali says to relearn that sadhaka should keep observing every point, every practice, every effort, every minute is or has to be observed as a divine miracle. What happens is then the stillness will come. So we have to relearn that how to make our mind to be at one state by not getting distracted. So perhaps Yogda Maharaja, in such a pathetic mood, he made himself to move every day morning and observing Shioli flowers, and seen that with a willing devotion over the grassy altar, they were strewing themselves to, because that means that they are offering their pure devotion. So Yogda Maharaja says we also should, uh, like night jasmines, we also should be very ever ready to offer our devotion. So because I think we all know Shioli flowers, night jasmines, they bloom at night. That is uh, one of the miracles of the God, the true nature. And mingling tears with the dew, I often observed a strange otherworldly light emerging from the dawn. No, Appa also says, Yoga Maharaj also says that he often observed a strange otherworldly light emerging. That means God is everywhere, and even in his mourning, like he's feeling very bad, pathetic, Yogda Maharaja could see a strange otherworldly light emerging from the dawn. That means uh, he's help blessing us to relearn that the personal tragedy was pushing him toward an intense longing for the infinite. So he did not halt that mother has passed away. See, what we have to relearn is we have to come out of that situation. So that is the reason Yogda Maharaja says that I kept on observing, I often observed a strange otherworldly light emerging from the dawn. Intense pangs of longing for God assailed me. I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. Now, this is willing devotion. So, what does it symbolizes? That means soul surrenderance. Uh, that means the tree, Shioli tree, and the Shioli tree, there are flowers, and these flowers are falling on the ground, earth, without any effort. Look at that. And this is or can be relearned that it symbolizes that soul surrenderance. So Yogda Maharaja says, tree of worldly attachment, which is away. So a tree is away from worldly attachment and to rest at the feet of the divine. So this was, or we have to relearn. I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. Now look at that. So, of course, we all know that for a Shiolu tree, there is a great uh, story, a great story in Hindu mythology. So, the story is said like this to an extension of our Satsanga. This also, the for convenience, this Shioli flower is also called as uh, in Telugu also, in Telugu or Sanskrit, Parijat. This is called as Parijat. In English, we call it as night jasmine. So this people, or generally Hindu mythology, says that this is a nature's miracle and God's play, God's miracle. That's the reason it is also called as a celestial tree that holds a spiritual significance. Night jasmine holds a lot of spiritual significance. That is the reason Yogda Maharaja is telling that I have relearned or I have been observing the Shioli tree. So, particularly in Indian context, when we are relearning about Shioli tree, it has a unique relationship with the Divine Mother, Goddess Durga, and the Sun God Surya. So, this is a small story which uh, goes, which had been learnt. from ages. So the what happens is that we have relearned that flowers bloom at night and fall at dawn. So the story goes like this: there is a princess named Parijat. That is the reason in India we call this Shioli flowers as Parijat, Parijata Pushpa, because they are celestial trees and they shown for their surrenderance to God, willingness to devotion. So this princess named Parijat fell deeply in love with the sun god called as Surya, Lord Surya, Surya Bhagavan. We call it as Surya Bhagavan, Lord Surya. Just imagine without Lord Sun, everything dark, and in dark we cannot live. So both are needed, light and night. That's what, isn't it? So Parijata was a princess and she fell in love with Lord Surya, Sun Bhagwan, Sun God. But Sun Bhagwan did not reciprocate her love. So then the sad tree, the Shioli tree, committed suicide. That means Parijat, the princess. And from her ashes, uh, Parijat flower has rose. Look at that. So Parijat is a princess. She was a beautiful lady. She fell in love with Lord Surya. Lord Surya, Bhagavan Surya, did not reciprocate her love. That is the reason she committed suicide, because almost she was devastated and she committed suicide. And from her ashes, the Parijat tree has come. So, because Lord Surya rejected the princess Parijat, she cannot bear his sight. So the flowers bloom only in the moonlight and strew themselves on the ground as soon as the first rays of the sun appears. That is the reason Yogda Maharaja blessing us to relearn. And their fall is often described as generally uh, tears of pain. So Yogda Maharaja also is, because that is the reason Yogda Maharaja is telling that very pathetic pilgrimage in the Bangla veranda. He used to walk, morning walk. So he used to keep observing. Ours Jagat Guru Paramahamsa Yogda Maharaja. He used to observe this surely because he's an incarnation. He knows about this Parijata Pushpa or Parijata tree, the princess, and the Hindu mythology which talks about the the affection and devastation between these two. And so finally, it was being relearned that they fall in pain. So that also means that that is the final part, or final act of willing or surrenderance or devotion. So Yogda Maharaja, our Jagadguru Yogda Maharaja, uh, sees this natural shedding, not a biological process, but as nature's own soul performing an act of devotional sacrifice at the altar of the Divine Mother. So, Divine Mother is accepting, and pure devotion, surrenderance will attract God. That is what Yogda Maharaja is telling us. So, Yogda Maharaja says, intense pangs of longing for God assailed me. I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. Now, Yogda Maharaja, what happened? So, deep yearning for uh, God, deep yearning for God. Uh, it's almost, Shivana would say, that to the core, I want only God. I want only God, no other thing, only God. Like that, our Jagat Guru Paramahamsa Yogda Maharaja used to feel And he also would have forgotten uh, hungerness, thirsty, and he would have also avoided daily routines and activities. That is the reason Yogda Maharaja says, I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. Himalayas, Devabhumi, Yogi Bhumi. India is very much blessed to have Himalayas. It is called as Devbhumi. Even today, closely around, approximately, it may be also, number may be here and there, more than 3,000 gurus are there in Himalayas, which they may not show themselves to devotees. More than 3,000. And generally, they appear in uh, in beings, but in animal form. Yes. And very interestingly, they live above the ground. They dwell on the trees, on the mountain regions, in the caves. For instance, we have also relearned when Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana went to Ranikhet, Himalayas, Mahavatar Babaji Maharaj cave, when we get into that, almost it is closely, uh, say 2 hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hour it will take from the Ranikhet, the starting point, to reach Himalaya, the Ranikhet Gufa, cave of Mahavatar Babaji. Now, everyone, there is one big Sadguru. He is called as Hatha Yogi Niranjan Prabhu. Jayanamugana Sankirtana met him. So he was sharing his experience. He stays near Dronagiri, Himalaya Parvat, Himalaya, Dronagiri mountain, Himalayas. So he was sharing us that the Raniket Gufa cave, the moment we enter, if we can cleanly observe, it is almost a 10 or 12 feet or 14 feet length. Left side and right side, the original cave is there, where Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja came out and blessed Lahiri Mahashaya. Left side, government has closed. Right side, government has closed. Why? Because left side, just imagine we are getting into cave, closed, only 14 feet. We can sit and meditate and come out. Where now it is in the ordinance of YSS, Yogda Satsang Society, our Yogda Maharaja. Left side, if we go earlier days, before, probably when government has closed, there is no such a record. Left side, we can keep walking at least 2 to 3 kilometer range in the cave only. That is another extended cave. Right side, when we go, we cannot come back. That the water. Hatha Yogi Niranjan Prabhu Maharaja says. Yes, God promised. Right side. So he told in Hindi that Sarkar ne band kar diya. Agar wo gufa mein aap gaye, right side if you keep walking, you will never come back. It will directly, almost, it may reach Badrinath. Very close to. So, so Devbhumi. Look at that. And one Jayanamuguna Sankirtana experienced the Himalayas. Everyone should go in life one time. If it happens every year, God grace, Babaji Maharaja blessings. Nothing to do there. No sadhana, no tapasya, nothing. Just to be there, that's it. The vibration, resonating voice of nature will take us. Joyous, joyous, happy, happy like that. If sadhana for a spiritual practitioner, deep meditative, blissful place, Himalayas. And Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana visited Ranikhet, and after that, upon above almost to more than 7,000, 6,400, 500 feet or meters. Shivana doesn't know meters and feet, but like that it was written. After Ranikhet, Mahavatar Babaji Maharaj cave, almost there is 1.7 to 2.5 kilometers where we have to walk for more than 2 hours on hills, step by step. No here and there. We have to be very concentrated to reach Pandav Koila or Pandav Kohila. This has a great originating story from Hindu mythology that when Pandavas were in exile, Agnatavas in Sanskrit or Hindi, they have stayed for some time on the Pandav Koila. Above that, nothing. As if when we go there, yes, Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana went. We feel that we can touch uh, clouds. Really? Yes. As if we can touch. Oh, 2 hours from. So, from the road to Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja cave, closely 40 minutes to 1 hour. We can walk. Beautiful track is made. Slowly we can walk. There are also palanquins. If some people unable to walk, there are boys who will carry. First, we'll go to Ranikhet. From there, YSS Dhyan Kendra, the meditation center is there. From there, we will go to Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja cave. And we are very much blessed, Jaya Nama Guna Sankirtana, that Yogda Maharaja and Babaji Maharaja blessed us the service and the divine experience, encounter, the divine encountering experience of Lahiri Mahashaya and Mahavatar Babaji. Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja came out and he said, Gangadhar, you have forgotten me. Just recollect yourself. In previous births, lives, you and me used to meditate here, that cave. So that was also Satsanga, we have done it. We have recorded it, no problem. We all can enjoy it for blissful experience. Then Pandav Koila. In Pandav Koila, there is a shrine, and 300 400 years back, closely Mahavatar Babaji, even because he is Mahavatar, any incarnation with continuously with the body, continuously life after life, there are no lives and deaths. Any incarnation who beholds the body, he is called as Mahavatar. So Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja, in soul body or physical body, he appears upon the wish of the devotee, but only upon Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja blessing only he will appear. He will not give darshan to ordinary devotees. There should be yearning, crying, crying. We want Babaji, we want Babaji, we want Babaji, like that. Then only it will happen. Pure love. So he used to do, he is alive and he is there. he keeps coming. So 300, 400 years back, one Siddha Purusha, that means one greatest soul, had a darshan of Mahavatar Babaji in that Pandu Koila place. So he is also big spiritual practitioner. In little shrine, he consecrated His Holiness Mahavatar Babaji Maharaja and Mataji. Who is Mataji? Babaji's sister. She's our sister. Oh, she's not our sister. She's our mother. Babaji is our father. Oh, what a vibration. What a vibration. So the lineage goes like that. So what Jaya Nama Guna Sankeerthana is relearning is that uh, a desire for God's comfort, guidance, and rescue, a yearning to be heard and understood by a divine presence, requires pure devotion. So, assailed me, I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. Now, one of my cousins, here we also should understand that uh, because Himalayas is fully filled up with more than 3,000 yogis, Himalayan yogis. That is the reason Yogda Maharaja got a, when he was deeply meditating, he could see beyond the, or beyond the light, or slowly after shading out all the darkness, there is a diamond kind that in chapter 1 we have relearned. There were Himalayan yogis. Now, for little understanding, every one of us know who is a yogi. So, generally, in male form, we call in spiritual context yogi. If in feminine, then we call it as yogini, yogi and yogini. So, one who continuously practices yoga uh, can be called as a yogi. Here, yoga means any yoga, hatha yoga, kriya yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, any yoga. He called as yogi, and she, her holiness, can be called as yogini. So, yogi is a Sanskrit root word called um, yogi yuj, yuj, Y-U-J, meaning unite, unite. Yogi is a term which have been derived from Sanskrit word called as yuj. So you can also, some people call yogi, but generally in English, in India, we call it as yogi. Shivana doesn't know in other countries how they spell it. Y-O-G-I, yogi. A feminine, Y-O-G-I-N-I, yogini. So yogi is a word which has been derived from Sanskrit word called as yuj. That means unite. So uh, generally, yoga means people associate with physical exercises. It is not that. The spiritual definition means that any kind of a yogic practice or a spiritual practice which has been observed by the individual soul to have a God communion, those are called as yogis and yoginis. Like they, what are the typical characteristics of a yogi? Like the soul surrenderance to the God. They are very compassionate. They have equanimity. That means they balance the mind in all the situations. That means they remain unaffected by pairs of opposites like, dvandva, pleasures and pains, success and failure. And most importantly, a true yogi is one who has control over senses. So anyone can become a yogi. There is no need of going to uh, away from families. By controlling senses, physical desires, ego, lust, and greed, like that, for example, equanimity and mastery over senses can be called as yogi. Yogi is characterized by that. And most importantly, because he is divine, yogi could see everyone same in all beings. Every being is same to him. He will not find any difference between gold, silver, gold, and mitti. In Hindi, we call it as mitti. Mitti means soil. He will not find any difference between gold and soil. He's detached. He's called as a yogi. And generally, what happens? He also known to be or noticed to be karma yogi. What does it means, karma yogi? Like, whatever the duties he performs, perfectly he will perform. Unselfishlessly he will perform. There is no selfishness. He will be never worried about results and rewards. He believes that God is omnipresent. And they keep on loving the God and see the God in human beings. Those beings are called as yogis. And females or feminine yogis. So Yogda Maharaj is telling us that one of my cousins, fresh from a period of travel in the holy hills, visited us in Bareilly. So we also have to relearn that the pure devotion like Shioli flower, does it happens that God will come to us? Yes. It says God will come. No doubt in it. So our Jagat Guru, Avatar, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaj says that without any reason, without any doubt, as Appa, our Yogda Maharaja saw, we can have the darshan of Amma. But how? How to fix our minds on the God? So Jagat Guru Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaja says, repeat God's name and sing. First mantra. Repeat God's name. Whoever the God you are liking, we shouldn't find any difference. Any God. Lord Christ, Lord Ishvara, Lord Vishnu, Mata, Goddess, Mother of Mothers, anyone, Guru, any Guru. We shouldn't find difference. Respect all Gurus, follow one Guru. Mahavatar Babaji Maharaj says, Appaji says, respect, love, love all Gurus, love all the human beings. Do not, we shouldn't get on to caste, creed, rich, poor, blood group, that to this. That is Brahman state. However, as a spiritual practitioner, we have to relearn that number one, mantra, sing the glories of the God to become a Shioli flower. To, if one wanted to get attracted to God, God automatically will get attracted to the devotee. When one sings repeatedly the God's name, the glories of the God. And most importantly, there are Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaj says, mind cannot be controlled or dwell on God if it is not immersed day and night in spiritual life. So His Holiness Jagat Guru Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaj says that he's blessing us to relearn that we have to immerse in God's name. It may not be possible. We have to train the brain. For instance, just imagine how much we are blessed to have satsanga every day. How difficult is to sit for 1 hour or 40 minutes. It is not that easy. That state is a blessing. So Maharaja says, repeats the God name continuously and sing his glories. Because the mind cannot dwell on God if it is immersed in day and night on worldly matters. Keep on watching, keep on phoning, telecalling, keep on criticizing, keep on thinking worldly matters. It cannot be immersed. So, in addition to that, we also may get involved unknowingly in our duties and responsibilities. No problem. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Maharaj says, just you do your regular duties and responsibilities on one hand, and on other hand, keep your mind, thought, heart on the holy feet of God. So we have to keep practicing that. Then only it is possible. So this is a purification process. So Maharaja says that Yogda Maharaja says that this is the way one can achieve it, and this is also possible. Now, most importantly, oh, lot of time. We are short of time, so we had one satsanga also. So, with the blessings of Samasta Guru Mandali. However, some yeah, we are following this book, Paramahansa Yoga Maharaja. Okay. Some people are asking today is Saturday. We have some time. Okay, no problem. We will do uh, one Kakada Arti. Lord Datta, Anagha Datta. Saturday. Yeah, please write Jaya Paramahamsa Yogananda Maharaja. Jaya Paramahamsa Yogananda Maharaja. Palaya Mamiha Sadgurudata. Mamiha Palaya Sadgurudata. 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 Sambata Mangaladayaka Datta, Sambita Papa Vinashaka Datta, Sambata Mangaladayaka Datta, Sambita Papa Vinashaka Datta, Shodhaya Manasamadhimadatta, Shodhaya Sambhida Marshita Datta, Shodhaya Manasamadhimadatta, Shodhaya Sambhida Marshita Datta, Palaya Mamiha Sadgurudata. Mamiha Palaya Sadgurudata. Palaya Mamiha Sadgurudata. Mamiha Palaya Sadgurudata. साधय मोधमखण्डितदत्ता राधय कामरयं गुरुदत्ता साधय मोधमखण्डितदत्ता राधय कामरयं गुरुदत्ता ॐ मुति श्रीमुति द्रामिति दत्ता बीजमहाक्षर बोधिदत्ता ॐ मुति श्रीमुति द्रामिति दत्ता बीजमहाक्षर बोधिदत्ता पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त अक्षरदत्त विचक्षणदत्त मन्दमहोदधि मन्दरदत्त अक्षरदत्त विचक्षणदत्त मन्दमहोदधि मन्दरदत्त योगविदाम्बर योजितदत्त योगपदत्त योगपदाम्बर योजितदत्त योगपदत्त योगविदाम्बर योजितदत्त योगपदत्त पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त मयि अनुराग मुदीरय दत्त मयि अनुराग मुदीरय दत्त सच्चिदानंद ईश्वर दत्त सच्चिदानंदयतीश्वर दत्त पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त पालय मामिह सद्गुरुदत्त मामिह पालय सद्गुरुदत्त। समस्त गुरु मंडली की जय, समस्त गुरु मंडली की जय, अनगा दत्त महाराज की जय, अनगा दत्त महाराज की जय, तारा माता की जय, तारा माता की जय, जय नाम गुण संकीर्तन की जय, जय नाम गुण संकीर्तन की जय।